This is a podcast from the Queen City Podcast Network.
Welcome to Nerd School.
In the Nerdy 30 episode, it's about the heat up. Artstar, the Sith, and TBJ, the Jedi. Ready for what's up? The rivals with a passion for their chosen ways. But in this nerd kingdom, who will take the crown today? Artstar, a man, an honest, with a dark side concealed. TBJ, a fashion icon, a lady, the Jedi, power revealed. They clash in the Nerd School podcast, creating a spectacle. The battle of creativity and style, who will excel? Nerds unite, feeling the hype, the showdown is here. Artstar and TBJ, battling through the atmosphere. Nerdy 30 episode, filled with twists and turns. Geeky minds collide, it's time to let the fire burn.
Well, hello, Nerd School listeners. Today's a little different. It's a Nerdy 30, and you have myself, TBJ, and Artstar. And we figured it's about time you learn the origin story of maybe why there's so much animosity between us.
I wouldn't say
animosity. Listen to
animosity.
more than one episode, I'd say animosity. People can feel it. People have commented on it, Art. I don't know why you don't think it's there, but it's there. So let's tell the people where it started.
Do you know where it started?
Do you remember?
I don't. All I
remember.
I think maybe he was looking at something or another, and I was like, "Oh, she's in the Star Warsy stuff or something or another." Like my mind is foggy. Like, and I just remember.
Yes,
no
we
one
were both at work. No, go. We were at work. I was on my computer looking up stuff, and you took note.
Right, and I think it was Star Warsy, and then I think I asked you about it, and I think basically I just said like, "Oh, I like Star Wars. I'm all for the dark side." It's probably more.
Yeah.
than
Well,
that.
I don't know if you told me you were all for the dark side. What I think happened is I asked you what side you were on.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you if you were a Jedi or a Sith.
Right, and of course,
And you proudly proclaimed
of
Sith.
course,
Proudly.
of course.
But if anyone has paid attention, Art lives in this world, in his Sith cell, and he has a wish, a dream that I would become his apprentice. That's not happening, but this is his desire in the world. But we started that day. I'm going to rewind a little bit. So Art is not known for being talkative where
Right.
we work.
Which is by
Is a lie.
Which is
He can't
by
talk.
design. Me not being known for not being talkative, it's always been by design. Go ahead.
So you see, he's manipulative, like Siths are. So people are very used to him not talking. And so for a while, I would have conversations with him. Sometimes we'd chat about like books, Star Wars, nerd things. This is how it came to be. And other people will be like, he talks. I mean, he talks to me. And other people were just very fascinated to know this man had conversations. But we were in the middle of a heated debate, and one of the things that we kind of got into it was Kylo Ren, specifically.
Good old Kylo.
Good old, like, side note, TBJ is a fan of Adam Driver. She thinks he's wonderful. He's a fellow service member who left the service and went into the arts, so God bless him. However, his character of Kylo Ren, to me,
It's very problematic.
I don't need a redemption arc for him.
Why not?
Yes. And
You don't
specifically one of the debates, or you know, the debate where he cons his dad into being murdered.
You don't think at the end he redeemed himself, a la his grandfather? Like, he helped in the end.
I have a hard time still forgiving him. Like, part of me is like, yeah, that's great. I still would stab you if I saw you. Because I can't forget what you did to your dad. Had he done those other things and not done his dad that way, like even if his dad had died in a battle between them, but not like that, I could have overlooked that. And I'm not trying to spoil it for you guys, but it's really manipulative the way Han Solo dies. It's manipulative. So I could have overlooked him being a Sith. I could have been all in for a redemption arc. But that moment, that 5 seconds of cinema sullied it all for me. Not to mention, let's take it all the way back to Anakin just being dumb and not asking questions
Mm-hmm.
and just murdering people because someone got into his head and he didn't think to pause and ask questions.
Well, I
I
mean,
could write a dissertation.
we all have to learn, right? Some of
You
us
have to
just
learn by murdering everybody?
some of us just learn differently. You know, I've Anakin, Anakin. I want to say his story is akin, and this is a stretch, but to me,
At
it's
least you're
like
admitting it's a stretch.
because I'm about to compare it to Frankenstein. So it's like I feel like a part of what he did was because he did it for love, right? He felt like him giving into the dark side will help him help Padme. So it's like
Yeah, but if he'd have just asked some questions, just paused for a second and thought things through.
he was also young, so he just whatever. He felt like in the moment he was doing the right thing for the greater good. It's always for the greater good.
But it wasn't for the greater good.
I.e.,
I'd love for
Magneto
you to
was
tell
always right.
people,
Go ahead.
no, I'd love for you to, here's your moment for our listeners.
Uh-huh.
And I will note here, we have not done a big deep dive into Star Wars. We eventually will. We've been in Marvel Universe for a very long time. We do anticipate going down the route of Star Wars. As you know, this is not foreign to Art and I, or Andy. Joe will be learning. But before we ever get there, we'll finish what we're doing in the other world and sprinkle some in.
Right.
We'll sprinkle some in. We'll start sprinkling it in, but this is really just the origin of this animosity between us and then other things it spurred, which also caught the attention of Joe when thinking about this podcast. But Art, here's your moment, okay? Tell the listeners why Siths are not evil. Give us your recruiting. Give us your recruitment speech.
Here's the thing. I would not say that Sith aren't evil. Here's my thinking, right? Uh it's all about the yin and the yang, right? Without good,
Okay.
there's no evil, right? So while some Sith lean towards evil, we all aren't evil. You know what I mean? Some of us just
Okay.
solely deal in absolutes. Some of us also, we can kind of relate to some of the things, like having to make the hard decisions and living with them, you know? So
Okay.
it's not necessarily relating to them because of the evil nature. But then there's also most people that know me know I've always been a devil's advocate. Like I love to be on the opposite side.
And
You
I
know,
always
not
like to say the devil don't need no advocate.
but it's sometimes it's just like if something you can relate to certain things. So for me, it's sitting there like sometimes the Sith comes off as the little guy. And then you have like the all-encompassing Jedi who think everything they do is right, you know? But then
No.
but it's it's we are a part of a necessary good word for it, a necessary evil, right?
I knew you
If
were going to say it.
if the Sith don't exist, what purpose do the Jedi serve other than being self-serving and we're always right, we're the greatest. We do this,
But
everything.
who is walking around saying we're always right? There are enough ill-intentioned people in the world to kind of hold the world together and keep community without it being, oh, we're the best people on earth. It's upholding a standard, which I think is not an issue in any way, shape, or form.
But
It is trying to use what you have for the good of all, not for yourself,
mhm. But
for all.
sometimes you have to take time for yourself, right? So it's 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 okay. It's okay to be a Sith and not necessarily be evil. Like you can be indifferent about certain things, right? It's
Then you
like,
don't have to be a Sith.
but if you believe in some of their tenets, it's you want, and you're not saying you have to belong, but maybe to you that's camaraderie for you. Like, here's some like-minded people who think the same way I am. I may not agree with everything they do, but I can agree to some of the things they say. Hey, I'm a Sith. I'm saying is reaching out to the people who are listening to this who've always felt like there's a little bit of darkness in them. Not necessarily mean they're going to react on it or act on that darkness, but knowing that it's okay to have that darkness and you still can be good. You still can have darkness and be good.
But okay, you can have a little bit of darkness doesn't mean you're a Sith. I'm going to read you the codes, okay? Jedi code and the
Mm-hmm.
Sith code.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me which one you think is here. Um, and which is better. I also want to note there is what some people call a gray Jedi,
Mm-hmm.
which I would think you would be more of, but no, you want to
Mm-hmm.
lean hard
Yeah.
on the Sithness.
Because I feel like, to me, being a gray Jedi would be having the excuse to do something or say something. And I was like, well, I'm not a Sith. I just I just travel in between that gray area. I agree with them, but I still want to be a good guy, you know?
Okay, here is the Sith peace is a lie. There's only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. And through
Mm-hmm.
victory, my chains are broken. The force shall free me.
Yep. Force
That's
shall
the
free me.
Siths. All right. On the other side, there's no emotion, there's peace. There's no ignorance, there's knowledge. There's no passion, there's serenity. There is no chaos, there's harmony. There is no death, there is the force. Who does not want harmony? I'm asking you. Who doesn't
I,
want harmony? Do I
I'm,
need to have power? I'd rather
well,
have harmony than
here's the
power.
thing. People crave power. They may not admit it, but people crave power.
I can honestly say that
They
has
want
never
power.
been,
They
nope.
need power. They
Well,
just
this is
go ahead.
here's another thing, Art. This is how you know that I would never ever be a Sith. I have no desire to be in charge of anything.
You
And
don't
that
have to.
is
What am I
always
in charge of? What am I other
no.
than
If
my
you
own life? What am I in
power
charge
with
of?
power comes with power comes great responsibility. I have literally never
Mhm.
wanted the reins of power. Like I'm telling you, when I left training school in the Air Force to go to my first duty station, if you look at my records, it says Brian Jackson is a great airman, but she has a reluctance to lead. You know why? I don't need that pressure. Okay. I don't want that pressure. I want harmony. I want peace. I want harmony. I wanna just vibe. I wanna vibe. Now I do speak up when I think things are done wrong or people are being injustice. Yes.
Mhm, mhm.
But I don't want to be in charge of how we organizing this and how we leading it. I want to be in charge. I don't even want to be in charge of making the decision about what we're about to eat today. I don't want power. Power
Well, here's the
corrupts.
thing. Check this out. When you have power, you can delegate that decision to someone else. Like, you know what?
I don't want that.
I don't want to think about what we're having to eat today. You there. Find us some nourishment.
Yeah, but you still got to have minions. They're still in
It's not
order
necessarily
to
a minion.
delegate.
It's just them recognizing your power and just doing it for you. You know?
Now, in order for you to delegate or to have, let's think
People
about
are going to hate
the
me when they hear this.
stormtroopers. Let's think about stormtroopers and their whole entire purpose. They're not
Mhm.
supposed to question anything. They're not supposed to think. They just do. They do what they're commanded to do. Does that not feel icky to you?
But both the Empire and the everyone used stormtroopers, you know?
Yeah, but let's look at the difference.
Listen.
Look at the difference.
they're still commanded. Like Anakin, not yeah, Anakin, Obi-Wan, they've all commanded stormtroopers.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Master
icky
Yoda.
all around.
So,
Icky all around. Now, I will say in this great debate and this great fight that has ever happened, um, in all of these things, one, we've never agreed, but the positive is it
I
did
think it's
bring Joe around the corner
uh-huh.
to listen to us argue. And in that argument, he said, wow, I didn't realize you two were nerds. I'm going to say specifically me because I'm so cool. I'm not. I'm really nerdy, y'all. Sometimes I just cosplay as cool. That he didn't recognize it. And then he realized, man, that animosity between you two would be great to have.
And it also
So
it
essentially,
it built his love
brought
for
on.
me as well, you know.
He does love you. He's in love with you. That is a marriage that will last forever.
Right.
There is no getting between Art and Joe and Art. Sometimes someone should call a red flag on their relationship. I'm surprised Joe's wife has not called a red flag on your relationship, but she should.
Listen, Joe
So,
Joe understands. Joe understands Artstar more. Like he sees beneath the Sithness, you know.
so why don't
He
you
knows
try and recruit him?
Joe doesn't have it. He doesn't have a
He's
Sith
gonna listen
nature,
to this.
and I want him to, but it's just the truth. You know what I mean? If I had to choose an apprentice, it would always be you,
But
Andy.
it won't be.
Andy, Andy would always see the difference is you'll question it, but you would do it unknowingly probably too. Do what it needs to be. Like I've told you a couple of times how like see that right there? That's the perfect reason why you're the Sith. Andy would break it down too much to the point where it's like Andy would forever be a Jedi. You know, he's like Yoda. Like he will forever be the Jedi.
You hear that,
Joe
Andy? You were Yoda.
Joe is like I don't know how to explain Joe. He's not he's like
I was gonna say something not nice, but I do appreciate Joe, so I'm not gonna say it in the character who I was going to make him be.
Joe's like Joe's Han Solo. Joe's Han Solo. He's like a wild card, right? He's there for the fight, but he's like he'd rather toss back a couple of beers and call it a day. You know, he's not Sith material. Joe, you're just
Do you
not
want to
Sith
know who
material.
I was gonna say Joe was?
Cool.
Just
Chewie,
guess. I didn't say it.
an Ewok,
Nope.
Leia,
What is one of the most disliked characters?
not Jar Jar.
I did. Only because he's just bumbling sometimes. Love you,
Right.
Joe. He's just bumbling sometimes. And that's Jar Jar. And he's trying to prove himself in
Jojo
nerddom,
Binks. Jojo
which is
Binks.
which is Jar Jar. Bless Joe, one day I didn't mean to insult you, but you will understand why it's an insult.
Well, he's watched some of the Clone Wars, so I think he'll probably get the Jar Jar reference.
He might not. He might not get the joke in it. So here's the thing. Yes, I see why you think that I can be recruited, but I think you forget that I, one, am a Taurus, and two, I loathe.
And that's one of your strong points.
Yeah, but it's not, because the thing
It
is, as a
makes you
Taurus,
perfect.
I
Perfect.
strive for what is right, and for me, what is right is not the darkness.
But see, I feel like you come in and you try to right the ship. You know,
Nope. I don't even want to get on. I don't even want to get on the ship
you're more like
at all.
Magneto than Charles Xavier, right?
Yeah,
But
no.
you're like a combination of you're like nerds will get it. You're like Onslaught, but then you're also like, I need to go in and clean up this thing. So let me take out Artstar, become the Sith Lord, and you know, steering
But
them
that
back
wouldn't
towards
bode
good.
well for you if I took over, would it? Because I'd
Hey,
be eliminating you all.
well, that's if that's what you choose to do, that's what you choose to do with the power that you have
Yeah,
achieved.
I don't want it. I don't want to have it. It is not what I want. I do want to tell people that it sparked other things. So what has also happened now is that I just have a general distrust of art.
Not you at
Uh,
all. Not you. What a
I
general
do.
distrust? What has caused this general distrust? Am I not
Well,
nice to you randomly?
but then I question it every time. See what this rivalry has done is that you will do something that others will deem as nice, and I go, are you trying to bribe me? What do you want out of this? And I would just want to point out for a moment, do not pretend that you were extra nice to me, because I'm gonna rewind back to Heroes Con
What I do?
when you like to tell the audience, don't do this
What-
just because Tiffany wants to.
No, I said basically, don't do this. Don't vote just because you like the person. Vote how you really feel.
But
You know,
that
because
tells me you're so anti me. Okay.
it
The
wasn't
popular
anti me.
vote
It was.
happens,
It wasn't anti me. It was the way that they would come. I like this because of her. Because but
which
the
is
fact,
a valid thing, which is
but it had,
very valid.
but we were trying to
And
vote
you tried
on.
to tear it down.
No, never that. I wanted the vote to be. I didn't want it to be like I wanted the people to take us out of the equation and vote on what was presented in front of them, not who was presenting
Even if
them.
you took me out of the equation, my pick was hella good. Haha, pun
Well,
intended.
so let your pick win on its own merit, not because you're
I
TBJ and
didn't
every
bribe anybody. I didn't sway anybody. People just happened to adore me and happened to side with me.
or it
And
could
you just have to
or
put it out
secretly
there, which
secretly
digs
you could have
our
you could
rivalry.
have Jedi mind tricked them.
No, I didn't. I would not. I
You
let them make
vote
their
for
own
me.
decisions.
You vote for
And
my
you
picks.
took the moment to throw a dig. So while you don't think it's animosity, I definitely think it's animosity. 100%. You definitely don't think we fight. The audience knows we fight. Uh, did I tell you what my Mother's Day wish was from one of our listeners?
What was that? Oh, I think you told me, huh? I'm
Yeah,
about to pull a Joe. I'm about to pull a Joe. I'm
you
sorry.
were.
I'm
I
sorry.
will.
I didn't mention your whole name. I stopped. I stopped.
We
Joe.
are trying to get Joe not to say last names.
Well,
One, I
I didn't
watched
even
too
want to
much
say his
ID
full name.
channel.
Go ahead. You watch
I
your
know you were, but for our audience, why we're always scolding Joe, I watch too much ID channel, and I don't like the idea of people being able to track down people they
Mhm.
don't know because the world is crazy. Two, let's not identify where we work by naming everyone we
Exactly.
work with, because one day one of these fools is going to say something controversial, and I would like to keep my job. I just got my 15-year plaque. Okay, y'all not taking that away from me. Three, without people's consent, I don't want to say their whole names. Anyway, we don't
Right.
say our whole names.
Not even. I try to even not even say their first name. It's
No,
like,
I normally say someone
yeah,
we work with or someone said
a friend of the show.
whatever. Yes. But this is what I'm going to tell our listeners because I don't think I've told them. So we're recording this later in May. Mother's Day has passed. And I got a lovely message that said, Happy Mother's Day. Not only because you are a mother, a fantastic mother, but you've made the choice to babysit Joe, Art, and Andy on a bi-weekly basis. And to that person, I thank you.
I just want
It's
to say.
accurate.
I just want to say. Um, I don't necessarily need to be babysat. Um,
That's what you say, but if you go back and listen to recordings of just you and Joe, you do.
well, here's the thing:
You
when it's
do.
just when it's just me and Joe, the love can't be stopped. So it things happen, but
Inappropriate things happen.
I feel like I feel like at some point I'm always okay. What would TBJ do or say when when you're not there? So like I try to make sure that we don't get too far, of course. you know. So
Well, I
I am
appreciate your effort.
most of the time I am the responsible one, you know, when you're not there. Which is not saying a lot, but you know.
No. So back to the point is that sometimes you do need wrangling and a babysitter, and that is why I'm here. Not only to express how I feel about nerdy things or problematic actors, it is also to keep y'all from going so far off the rails we would be fired.
I guess. I would say that's somewhat of an accurate representation of our dynamic on the podcast, but I feel like we
Mm-hmm.
all at some point, you know, do and say things that are a little bit
I
out there.
would almost dare you to go back and find anything I've said that's fireable.
I wouldn't say fireable, but it's we all have had our moments. We've had our moments.
I might have cursed once. And that's about it.
Oh, quite a few times.
No, it literally is like one time.
Joe,
So
roll it back. This is where Joe said
this
he's
is where
going
you can
to,
insert
but he's
any
not.
bits of me
He's
saying
going to say he's going to
words.
insert it, but he didn't. You know.
No, he won't.
Dick is pretty good.
Dick is pretty good.
Dick is pretty good.
No, this is I just don't have that much foul language in me. So boom.
Dick is pretty good.
Dick is pretty good.
Dick is pretty good.
Two, I do want to know it's not because I think I'm a goody two shoes. If you're listening to this and you think, oh, TBJ is a really good goody two shoes, that is the best way to get your feelings hurt because I'm really not. I am kind. I am one of the kindest people in the world. But I also give back what you give me. Which is why I might have said at a panel once before to a kid that I will throw hands with people of all ages. But that kid was insulting the hell out of us in our age.
And he
He
needed to be
was
told.
he was going in, and I just had to do a quick reminder. Hey, kid, I can get down. I'm short. We can get on the same level. Speaking of con, we do have to tell people it's coming up.
Very soon.
So, second weekend in June. Is it the second weekend or third weekend?
Second week, something like that.
Second weekend in June. Third, it's the third weekend in June because the first starts on Saturday. We can't give you all the details, but we can say we are there.
Well, we
can
are.
say
We can say that we are Saturday at 5 p.m.
Yep.
And Sunday at 3 p.m.
So we will be coming back with two panels. We're gonna do a completely new panel. It's game show style. Can't say which, not spoiling it. But if you're a listener and you've come to see us at con in the past 2 years and you love the interaction part, please schedule some time and come see us on a Saturday to play a little game with us. Let's get rowdy. Not too rowdy that we're kicked out of the con, but rowdy enough. Rowdy enough so that people go, I wonder what's happening on that panel. We want to remind people that is the move. Anything you want to say about our animosity before we wrap up our 30 minutes?
I wouldn't
For
say
the origin story. That is how TBJ and Artstar were quote unquote discovered to be nerds, discovered to have a dynamic that was worth Joe exploiting, and how we came to not trust each other from here on out.
Well, here's the thing. The Sith, I trust TBJ. I trust
because of
TBJ.
my good naturedness, good heart.
But yet she doesn't trust me. I don't know why. Like I've done nothing other than be a Sith that will make her not want to trust me. But who knows? Who knows? 5 years from now, you know, she'll
No,
accept it, and
she will not in 5 years
we'll be
accept
on
anything.
episode 1000 of this podcast, and the dynamic will still be there because even though we're both Sith, we can still, as she say, have animosity because we're, power fighting power. It's a thing.
There will not be Tiffany in Sithdom ever. I cannot wait until we actually start diving into Star Wars because we can start fighting a little bit more. I've got thoughts and things to say. You've got thoughts and things to say, and Joe will have 1,000,001 questions. 1,000,001, which is fine. He can have them.
Joe always
But
has questions.
he does. Well, that's how this entire podcast started because
That's
he
who
always has
he
questions.
should cosplay as the question. Matter of fact, he should just have a shirt on with the question mark on. That's it.
Yes, let's do it. You heard it here, folks. Somehow, R and I are gonna wrangle Joe into cosplaying at the con this year. Let's do it. We have a friend of the show who's a very avid cosplayer. Maybe we can loop her in.
That would be nice.
We can make it happen. So stay tuned for that. Anything else? I think that's it. That's how we came to be. That's how we are the two people who probably argue the most. I think in the history of the podcast, I've argued with Andy once. I've argued
that was
with Art.
spectacular. That
You were
was
just happy because I
spectacular.
wasn't arguing with you. I've argued with you 1,000,000 times. I've argued with Joe a handful of times, mostly because he's a Hawkeye hater.
I think he's
He's
coming
coming
around. He's coming around.
He is. He is.
He's
But
been reading. He watched the show. I don't know if I think he's read the book, but he's before you know it, Joe's going to want a bow and arrow.
I will get him a bow and arrow for Christmas. Okay. I just want him to stop being such a hater and then we won't argue so much. Oh, the other thing I hate on Joe for is his movie picks when we do our movie picks outside of the plan. He picks the dumbest movies known to man. And I get mad because I dare to waste hours of my precious TV watching time to the dumbest
automatically
things.
know going in though that Joe's pick is going to be.
Well, you didn't know that,
right?
right? Not at the beginning. Like
Right.
when we decided to do our summer series where we each picked a movie outside of the universe we were in, we all thought fair chance to like show each other something new. And then he came out the gate with Barbarella.
It's followed up with Howard the Duck.
Right? And you're like, Joe, can you get any worse? And then he surprises you and he does.
I think he purposely does it. He purposely does
now, it. Yes. Now, well, I will say when he picked Blackula this year, I think he thought he was doing something different than he was.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a terrible movie. It opened a discussion on blaxploitation in film, so yay that. But it's still, as a movie, Lord help us. So yes, Joe's picks are always horrendous, so that's why I fight with him. But you and I, we fight because you are you and I am me.
Right. And I'm not even a Taurus. I'm a Capricorn. Go figure.
Well, you say that like Tauruses are bad. We are lovely humans. We are loyal. We are strong and independent. I think stubbornness is not necessarily a bad quality. I think it's great because that means we aren't easily folded. Okay? If the CIA was trying to flip me from another country, it would never happen because I'm loyal.
Capricorns are supposed to be stubborn too. I don't believe it, but hey.
Oh, very funny. I like that you don't believe it. I think anyone can go back. There's another time where Joe could insert you being stubborn as hell into this. It'd be funny if he doesn't add any of these in as we're like, roll a clip, Joe.
He probably won't.
And it's just empty space. It's
either
fine. We'll forgive Joe.
Or he'll
He's
AI
sick.
something in it,
I'll forgive him because he's sick right now. That's the only reason I will forgive, but he will earn major bonus points if he does have the clips in.
Dick is pretty good.
Dick is pretty good.
Dick is pretty good.
See how that works?
He's not going to go for it. He's not going to go for it.
All right, that's the end of the story. That's the Dirty 30.
Because I'm looking at this recording here. We have 5 minutes and 34 seconds left.
Did you set it to 30? I thought you set it to 45.
It's 40. It's only 40 minutes with the free one.
So we're at 30.
With the end of that, I would just want to know. No, I would just like to say it would make our listeners happy and proud if you could just say,
nope. I already know where you're going. Nope.
Just Excelsior.
Nope.
All right.
Later, nerds.
Just once. Just once.
Nope. Later, nerds.
Can you at least sing us out?
Nope. On Wednesday, we wear nerd gear. That's all I'm giving you.
All right. And you know what? And I'm not going to go all Joe. I'm not going to just cut it while we're in the middle of a conversation. Have you said everything that you wanted the fans to know?
I did. Go Team Jedi.
Go Team Jedi. Oh, boy.
That's what I want them to know.
All right. I just want you to know the Force will free you. Say goodnight, TBJ.
Later, nerds.
Nerds unite, feeling the hype, the showdown is here. Artstar and TBJ, battling through the atmosphere. Nerdy episode, filled with twists and turns. Geeky minds collide, it's time to let the fire burn.
Excelsior.
The halls of nerd school where darkness looms. Artstar, the artist with brushes and gloom. A man, a mystery, a Sith in disguise, with a heart full of passion and cold crimson eyes. TBJ, the fashion icon, radiant and bright, Jedi warrior with strength, takes flight with grace and elegance. She walks the stage in inspiration to all at any age. But in the shadows, their rivalry burns. Two forces collide with hearts that yearn. Artstar's anger, fueled by the dark side. TBJ's determination, like the Jedi's eye.
What up, Nerd Hive? Joe here. Hey, if you're listening to this before the middle of June, please check out our Instagram page and follow the link to our fun nerd survey. We're surveying 100 nerds for a Family Feud fun game we'll be presenting at HeroesCon in Charlotte on June 15th. Speaking of that, please come to HeroesCon in Charlotte on June 15th and 16th. Come to our panels. We have a lot of fun. We've been told we got the most fun panels at all of HeroesCon. We like to have fun. We want to meet all of our listeners. So come on out, give Artstar a hug, give TBJ a squeeze. You can French kiss Andy if you want, okay? Come on out. Thanks for listening. See you next time.